I'm back, guys. Today we want also to check and know whether HIV is curable. Is it curable? And if no, why? Welcome back, Daktari.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
And our viewers, welcome back to the next session and episode of wanting to know information about HIV, because an interesting topic. That's a good question. Is HIV
Curable. If yes, how? And if no, why?
That's a hard question.
Yes.
But I want to simplify it. Very simple.
Yeah.
As far as the studies currently and the guidelines and research that has been done so far,
yes.
As far as Kenya is concerned,
yes.
HIV currently it's not curable, but it's preventable. Mark the two. Yes. It's not curable, but preventable. The part of if why preventable, we'll have a discussion if you'll have time to discuss sometimes later.
Yeah.
HIV is not curable. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Then why is it not curable? As I told you, if you look at how the retrovirus, the lenti family, works, those viruses replicate and mutate within minutes and minutes. Okay. So when you're doing a research, how the structure, you see, the structure of how the ARVs work, they work like lock and key.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So if the HIV structure looks like this, the key will come in and basically lock like this.
Yeah, it means they're unlockable. Yes. Once they are locked, they're unlockable.
Yes.
In a layman's language.
Okay. But now, after mutation, now the virus changes. Our drug, which is basically the key, it still has its shape. But the virus now looks like this.
Oh,
it cannot. It has mutated. Wow. It has changed in shape and structure.
So that's what is called mutation.
Okay. So these drugs cannot work on that virus. Okay. And that is now where resistance comes in, because the drug has maintained its shape and structure.
Yes.
But the virus has changed its shape and structure. Okay. So they cannot lock and key, neither can it lock and key. Okay. Yes. So that has made the study and research to develop curable drugs for HIV impossible. Okay. So as far as
we say, it's not really impossible, but people are still trying. Researchers are still working.
It is work in progress. Sure. Because you see, nothing is hard to achieve.
Yes.
Because now we also have to think as healthcare workers, have to go into research and see if this the rate of which the virus is mutating.
Yes.
How fast can you also think for a drug that can be able to go and take the next structure, holistically to approach it to destroy the virus? Or how can we also have a drug that is able to change in structure to suit how the virus is appearing?
Okay.
Then we'll get there. Nothing is impossible.
Okay.
Yes.
And now we also want to. We know this is a menace. Actually, it's a huge disease.
Yes.
I must just use the word huge, because now for that layman person to understand.
Yes.
So we know there's a lot of stigma that is associated with this disease.
Very true.
What are the causes of this stigma, and how can we overcome this stigma? Maybe you can demystify that stigma that is associated, if there is, and if there is not. But we know there's a lot of stigma that is associated with HIV and AIDS. So how can we overcome such amount of stigma? And maybe you can give us examples of stigma that is associated with the disease.
Yes. Thank you very much for that good question. Because the big hindrance that has been there for us in the HIV management field is the issue of stigma.
Sure.
Okay. Stigma is a state in which a patient feels inferior, or feels he's not a person enough, or he feels there is something not okay with himself to come out and be themselves. Have you seen?
And we have seen that especially when a client or a client comes and they test positive. Yes. Honestly, somebody changes. You start thinking about so much things. So when it is captured with stigma, it becomes something else. So as you are saying, continue.
So with stigma, you just put the point where I wanted to begin.
Yes.
At the testing point.
Yes.
That's where stigma begins. Okay. Why and how? Because to us as healthcare workers and to the general population, how we understand HIV is totally different.
Different.
That patient coming to test has myths and misconceptions from the community.
For sure.
Because the community understands once someone is HIV positive, that person is promiscuous.
For sure.
Yes, he's sleeping around with women, he's sleeping around with men without taking precaution. So everybody associates HIV with promiscuity.
For sure.
And even that person that is testing positive at that particular point sometimes was part of causing stigma.
For sure.
Naming people to be HIV positive and promiscuous. So when they test HIV positive, actually now what they were thinking and saying about other people is now they reflect to themselves now.
For sure.
So the first thing, people are going to see me to be promiscuous, people are going to see me as the bad people, I'm going to be rejected, sure. I'm not going to be myself, I'm going to die because people see HIV because there's no cure, you're just going to die. So they start having that self-rejection at that particular point. They lower their self-esteem. Sure. Because now they see the HIV positive, they think they're not human enough, they're not human beings, they don't belong to a society that is right.
It's at the end of
everything.
The world. For them.
Two things they see.
Yeah.
They see a grave, they see death. Nothing else. At that particular point. They are losing hope because of that hit reality that they're going to understand.
Okay.
So,
so the cause is must
the people themselves. Myths and misconception that is causing you not to have that actual facts about it.
Okay.
Yes.
And can we demystify the stigma as healthcare professionals? Because now, and then when you talk about the demystification of the stigma part,
yes.
I want you to talk about the ways or the methods we are using to try and prevent, not prevent,
to stop stigma.
Actually, to stop stigma, and also to try and treat. Because I know, like now we are doing the 95, 95, 95. Right?
Yes.
So we want to make sure the second 95 is about focusing on
linkage and retention.
Yes. But the third one
is about viral suppression.
Actually, that's where I want us to focus so much on. Yes. And when we will be focusing on viral suppression, we want to understand. You will talk about that part of if a person is virally suppressed, can they transmit the virus? Yes. So just talk about how we can stop stigma, and then also talk about the third 95, which I know my viewers might not understand, but it's the area about viral suppression. Because we have medication. We have medication and drugs called ARVs that we are using to suppress and treat our patients. Okay. So start with the stigma.
So let me go back to stigma as we were discussing.
Yes.
So there's so many types of stigma.
Yeah.
Okay. There is self-stigma, which is basically
intrinsic in a person.
Is yourself.
Itself.
Because number one, as I was saying, after you test HIV positive, the reality when you think like the whole world knows you're HIV positive.
For sure.
You feel even people, they feel even unable to walk outside the facility.
Sure.
Because they think everybody knows. So to our viewers, once you have gone to a health facility and you've been tested HIV positive, remember at that particular point, nobody else your status is. When you give you the kit, we'll explain to you how the results are interpreted.
Yes.
At that point, it's only yourself and that healthcare provider who knows your status. Nobody else knows your status.
Sure.
Because remember, we are testing so many people.
Yeah.
We are testing hundreds in a day and to get maybe only 1 or 2, 3 HIV positive.
Sure.
So number one, once you get from there, it's you only and that healthcare provider who knows HIV status.
Sure.
So walk out proud knowing that nobody knows your status.
Yes.
Number two, know that HIV is not death. It's not equal to death. No. HIV, in fact, HIV is among the most manageable diseases nowadays. In fact, malaria is killing people more than HIV is killing.
For sure.
Okay? So, HIV is not killing you.
No traffic accidents that are killing people.
Yes. So, HIV no longer kills people.
Yeah.
We have controlled and managed HIV.
Sure.
So, don't see that you're going to die and lower your self-esteem. Walk out proud. That HIV is manageable, is controllable, and it's not going to kill you.
For sure.
Number three, I know this is also a bit of lack of knowledge and empowerment to our fellow healthcare workers.
Yes.
You see, because I have known the HIV status maybe of a patient, I'm like, Stigma, hey, she's positive.
Yeah.
So I make my patient feel confidentiality. So I make my patient feel bad because I've signaled someone to know their status. Sure. So it's healthcare workers. Stigma. to the patient.
Sure. And even to healthcare workers themselves.
Yes.
Because then they
have stigma.
They also go through, they also get infected, they also turn positive.
So on that note, so the healthcare worker induced stigma is also a bit of the challenge as far as it's concerned.
Sure.
So as far as you said
management
is concerned,
we wanted to know about the third 95.
The third 95.
Yeah. Which we know. Okay, you can elaborate it.
So before we get to the third 95, so HIV basically is a cascade of how we do events.
Sure.
So once you're HIV positive, I will link you to care and treatment, or I will support you.
Sure.
And basically, we want to know where you are. We what we call a baseline CD4. We want to know how much has this virus affected your body, and which interventions do we need to put in place.
Yes.
As remember, as I said, HIV will not kill you. Sure. What will kill is the opportunistic infection that is associated with HIV.
The virus.
So we want to do what you call the CD4. If your CD4 is less than 200, we will say you have an advanced HIV disease. And they have to give you some drugs to prevent you from getting some infection of big concern,
which we call opportunistic infection.
Thank you.
Example like maybe,
what we worry for so much is cryptococcal meningitis.
Okay.
So when the CD4 is less than 200, we do a reflex serum count. We see if that patient does not have signs of cryptococcal meningitis, we start them on fluconazole to prevent them from getting meningitis, because meningitis will kill within no time. Because of its management.
Maybe we will not mention the drugs here, because outside there, somebody will see somebody taking fluconazole and they stigmatize them.
Anyway, that's basically it. Meningitis can get any other person, but I'm just giving an example here of the drug use. But now I've taken consideration. Number two, the drugs we give to prevent you from getting TB, from getting recurrent opportunistic infections. So that one is the primary thing. Then after there, we start you on the antiretroviral therapy. So the primary function of the antiretroviral is not to kill the virus, but it's to prevent the replication and multiplication of your cell, of the virus into your cells. Okay? And how does it do? It prevents, because in the life cycle of the virus you have different stages. Okay? We have where the reverse transcription works. So the drugs prevents that. So it prevents all stages of replication. Therefore, the virus, if it does not go to the next level, automatically it will die from starvation, because it will not be able to mature. Okay? Then they die. So your body will have very low level of viruses. And the level of virus, if it's very low, then your CD4 will start coming up. The body will have that power to fight against infection. And since the virus will be very minimal, so you asked about use because it's undetectable.
Transmission on the undetectable part. Because we have had many people have talked to they say, how can we hear there are some people who are on drugs and they are taking HIV drugs and they don't transmit HIV. So they really want to understand how that point you're talking about.
Yes.
Can you bring it up?
So when someone has taken their HIV medication very well, what you call the antiretroviral drugs.
Yes.
As I've explained, they'll make your viral load to be very minimal. Very minimal. In fact, that when you do the viral load, tell us it's lowly detectable levels. So our machines currently have been improved. Less than 25 copies cannot be detected by the machine. In fact, less than 10, because I've seen some 17 copies being read. So I read somewhere that anything less than 10, it will not be detected. So once that person has that minimal, very minimal, you cannot transmit. And that is why you find someone has been living with a person HIV positive for the last 5-6 years, and they have never gotten HIV. Why? Because this person with HIV has contained the virus to the minimal levels. Therefore, the possibility of transmission is less than 1%.
So basically, this person has been following treatment very nicely and properly.
Yes. Taking her drugs, his or her drugs very well, coming to the clinical appointment, following the doctor's instructions, not taking herbal medicine, not taking
nutrition.
Nutrition is very well. That person is very, very healthy.
Yes. And including maybe things like exercising.
Definitely, yes.
All those advices, they get them from the healthcare professionals like you.
Yes.
And that's why as we end there, I'm saying I'll put the link of the email down below. You can feel free to write an email if you want consultative discussions with Dr. Anyonyi here. We will make sure he comes to your premises, he comes to your communities, he comes to where you work, and he can give you lengthy discussions in details with regards to HIV and AIDS. Thank you so much, viewers, and feel free to like, share, and subscribe. This channel, as I said, is going to be very educative in matters health. It's also going to be focusing so much on philosophical hypotheses. We're also going to do some videos in terms of entertainment and in many other areas that we feel that are helping the society. So in terms of women health, we still have another discussion with my colleague and doctor here regarding another health area that we feel is now affecting the community. Thank you so much for staying with me and watching the video through to the end. Bye.